Um,
75 years old.
yeah, we are grumpy old man is what it is. I just want to say Patterson and I have known each other since 1992 when we both ran for office for here. I won, he lost. But he came back 2 years later. He came back 2 years later strong. So, and there is donuts in the back room. Yeah, that was when he handed off the gavel. There, oh, was it you taking it? Was I handing it to you? Okay, I couldn't remember. I don't have a full brain, so.
You were hard to take it away from me. Never forgotten this.
We could take this show on the road. He has become one of my best friends. We are not of the same political persuasion, but we talk regularly. And by the way, your wife Ann reminded me that it was your birthday today, and I said, I got this. I brought donuts. There are donuts back in the back room for staff, for public, for anybody, for the committee to have a donut on me to wish Patterson a happy birthday. We're not going to sing to you because that would be embarrassing for everybody. But
When you're diabetic,
well,
trying to kill me.
I'm diabetic. I'm going to eat a donut, so I didn't give you sprinkles. Those are the ones with sugar, or did I? Okay. Anyway, happy birthday, Patterson, and I'm glad that we're friends. And is there anything you'd like to say about turning 85?
What?
I thought he was 21.
Turning 75? Any words of wisdom for all these youngsters?
This was birth
There you go. I like that. Okay. And we're going to do introductions because we have some new people and changes and, okay.
Yes, so as y'all are aware, Brad Burball has been moved along to the Community Services Department Director.
How quickly he leaves us.
I know. So we have interim Resource Stewardship Director Nick Dunham. He's been with the county for 17 years. He comes from land management. I will let him introduce himself and give his background a little bit.
Welcome, Nick. 17 years he has started to use the mic.
Well, 17 years I was trying to avoid the mic, so.
Oh, okay.
But I finally made it. So as Kendra mentioned, I've been with the county for 17 years. All of it has been with the Volusia Forever Land Management Program since the early days of Volusia Forever.
Okay. Is the sound on this mic sound funny? It sound.
We did test him before.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. So, Nick, you're the new Brad Burball interim right now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I've stepped in as the new interim division director for the Resource Stewardship Division.
Okay. All right.
Also want to introduce Ashley Russell. Sarah Preston used to be in that spot. She's the Forever Administrative Specialist, but she does help out with ECHO for the meetings.
Okay.
But any administrative stuff daily, if something comes up, she does help fill out.
Welcome.
Introduce her.
Welcome.
Lastly, I'd like to introduce Laura Coleman. I'll let Russ do the introduction. She's going to be the new attorney for ECHO.
Yes, Laura Coleman, so you'll be in better hands. I'm going to be stepping back a little bit, and I'll be here if I can answer any questions. It's been a pleasure working with each and every one of you, and I've enjoyed it. I'm not going anywhere, but Laura will be your ECHO attorney moving forward.
Well, Russ would like you to think he's stepping back. In fact, he's stepping up. He's going to become deputy county attorney, and we are really proud of you for that. We will miss you, and we wish you well. And I think you're probably going to sneak out sometime today, right, from this meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. And Laura, would you like to say anything?
Glad I don't have to salute you.
There we go. My button wasn't pushing. It's nice to meet you all. I'm Laura Coleman. I've actually been around a little bit with ECHO in the past couple of years, stepping in for us, so hopefully I'm not a brand new face. I'm an assistant county attorney, and I've been with the county for about 4 years now, so let me know if you have any questions or if I can help in any way. My office is approximately 2 doors down from Russ's, so if you know where he was, you know where I am, and I am always available. So thank you for letting me join you.
I used to harass Russ. I'll be harassing you. So welcome.
I hope you're still going to harass me. I look forward to those phone calls.
I'll do that.
I'm not sure I talk much. I just listen, but.
They sounded off. Am I the only one that those two mics sounded off on? Okay, all right, okay. Okay, we'll move to public participation. Do we have any? No? No public participation? Okay, then we'll move to the approval of the July 13th, 2023 minutes. Are there any, has everybody read them? Is there any changes or additions to the minutes? If not, we will file them as they are written. Anybody have any corrections or anything? Okay. And then we'll move to new business, and we'll turn it over to Kendra.
Okay, so I'll introduce it. Tim Bailey is here for any questions. Veterans Memorial Plaza was awarded $600,000 in 2022. The match all was $600,000, and it was for a memorial with the water feature. Now the scope changes to change that to a fire feature, and a little bit of change with the memorial plaque.
Okay.
That Tim Bailey.
Hey, Tim. I didn't know that they're working right. Are y'all listen okay?
I will try to speak. Here we go. All right. All right. Tim Bailey, Parks, Recreation, and Culture Director. Thanks for having me today. Today before you is an opportunity to amend or a slight modification to our original plan. If you all remember, we had a water feature through the center of that Veterans Memorial. And as we got into the engineering and just looking at the visitation around that site, we thought the fire feature would be better suited than the water feature. So we modified that to the fire feature, which you have before you. The only other modification, as we got the engineers out there and some of the folks that were going to move that Tuscaloosa War Memorial from where it's at now over to the site, there's some pretty major cracks in that. And so there was a feeling that would be better for us to duplicate that memorial and build it on site than moving it from Tuscaloosa Park. We coordinated with the city of Daytona Beach, which it's their memorial on their site, and they concurred. So that's kind of why we decided to do what we're doing. No change to the budget. We're going to have it completed by October of next year is the plan currently right now. We've got one minor modification on the engineered drawings and construction bid documents, which we're working on right now. It'll be bid in next month, middle to either somewhere in next month it'll be put out on the street. We anticipate it be a 7-month construction project. So we think we can make that October timeframe be completed.
So before I go to the board, the committee for questions, I have two. One, is former council member Wagner still working on
Yeah.
raising money? Because I know he lost his house, and I know he's.
Yeah, no money. We got that aligned. All the money's collected. We have $1.2 million allocated for the project. Before we came to you, it was all in the bank, guaranteed, right? So if market conditions, if the bid comes back and it's higher, we'll have to figure out what we do at that point. But right now, $1.2 million is what we have for the project.
I know he had lost his home in Wilbur last storm, and he's been kind of busy, although he's been taking some vacations too. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was really one of his best projects
Yep.
when he was a council member. So.
Yep, he's still engaged. We talk regularly. Latest, the piece we're working on right now is all the names on the plaques.
Okay.
Make sure we're not missing anybody. And then if we miss someone, we're designing it in such a way where it's easier for us to modify the plaque and put up the new name if we miss one. Or a spelling, capital C, little c, we're planning on all that just in case something.
Would you call me on that, because
Yeah.
Ed was really sick during that process, and I can't remember whether I had intended to participate in that
Sure.
with his name, but I don't
Yep.
remember if I did.
Yep, not a problem.
I would
Yeah,
like
a lot
to
of
see-
details on the plaque, so, we're going to try to design it in such a way where it's easier for us to swap it out and make a correction.
It's a great project.
I
Do you
agree.
have anybody lined up for the first event at the amphitheater?
Not
We did
yet.
Elton John and
Yeah,
Christian
yeah,
setup, and we did
yeah.
that. so-
Right, not yet, not yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
not
right.
yet.
See if we can get like a big veterans band or something.
Oh, I agree, yeah, I
Are
agree.
there any questions for Tim regarding this? Okay, we didn't take an action. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff?
Yeah,
Jeff?
just, Tim, just a quick question. I know during the review 2 years ago, I just asked about, to what Pat was saying, events there. I just wanted to make sure there was power,
Yep.
planned.
That's
Yes,
right, you did.
yep. Power, microphones, lighting.
Yeah.
When I say lighting, it's for the flags and,
Right.
for safety, but we don't plan on lighting that, throughout the night or anything like that, right?
And I'm assuming that everything was finally taken care of with the seawall or
Yeah,
state
that-
or federal government, whatever.
Right, yep, that's the part that was holding us up, because there was damage in the storm, and then became a FEMA project and the City of Daytona Beach project, and then the escalation changed, the elevation changed, right? So we had to go back after the design of the seawall was completed, and it is complete now. We had to modify the construction drawings to collect that modification to the seawall. So that's all been done now. We're just finishing up the final touches here and going to put it on the street next month.
Great. It's a wonderful project. Reggie?
Yes, will the firewall be lit all the time?
No, will not be. The intention there is on the events, on the days of the events, that's when the whole firewall would be lit. And there's two pots at the end of that. So there's some concern about activity out there at night, right? So that's kind of why we're going to light it on the days of the events. Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, among other things, right? Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, you have a question? Go ahead.
Actually, Reggie did answer or ask, one of the questions was it going to be lit all the time? I noticed that it is only 6 feet high.
Yep.
So people could reach that flame.
Yep.
If it were lit. I recently attended the Riverfront Esplanade opening for that section on the same area just across the bridge.
Oh, yeah, very nice,
One of the
yeah.
things that I noticed was the amount of security and cameras that they had in effect all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's come up too in some of our cultural council meetings as well. Can you tell me a little bit about the park and how will it be supervised or
Right,
managed?
so cameras are going to be added after the project on our side, right? I have worked with the City of Daytona Beach. They have 560 cameras citywide. That's all monitored by their sheriff's office, right? So we'll be having cameras installed there. I think there's a camera underneath the bridge for the dock, because I have problems at that dock.
Yeah.
And if you notice, when you go onto that dock, there's all kinds of rules on there that we worked with the Daytona Beach Police Department on what they needed to police that site. So it's on both sides of the bridge. So we anticipate there'll be cameras there. It'll be monitored by the police department, and then hopefully they'll be able to help us out with any activity that's not lawful.
Of course, we always hope that there isn't any unlawful activity, but
Right.
I think in that area, we need to be prepared
right.
for it.
That's right.
Are there any flame features in other parts of the city? I don't know of
Well,
one.
I'm
I think
not-
it's a
yeah,
great way to
drawn-
honor tribute and
Yeah.
veterans. I like the idea. I just wonder if there's, have we
None's
tried
come
it
to mind
before?
for me. Nothing's coming to mind for me on a fire feature anywhere else in the city limits of Daytona Beach.
County, I can't think of the
I
county.
can't think of one.
I don't have any in any of our parks.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful way to honor the veterans, and I think it looks like a great project.
Yep, thank you.
And remind me, we're going to have places where bikes can park on, and
Say
that.
that last part. I missed.
Bikes can
Oh,
park.
yeah, bike rack, that's
Bike
correct.
racks.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, the trail goes through there.
Right,
It-
yeah.
It separates from the Sweetheart Trail. Well, it's a part of the Sweetheart Trail, but the Esplanade has a trail, so they're parallel. And then you have the River to Sea loop that is there as well. So you really got three trails going north and south there.
Okay.
Bike rack's going to be a great idea, yep.
Okay.
Just a question.
Pat?
Yeah. I wanted to ask, on the seating for the amphitheater, are there handrails, or is it just, I'm just wondering?
Yeah, no, it's, if you look at the design, it's, I think, a 6-inch drop, right? And so currently, there are no handrails, and we're meeting ADA requirements with
I
all
was
that.
thinking more about crime prevention through environmental design, and I was thinking about how inviting that will be as a long, 8-hour resting place. When you have the benches, and you see sometimes where you have the benches that have armrests, et cetera,
Mhm.
to help break that up, and I wondered if that was part of this.
Well, so when we're looking at that site, there are no benches at that site. So when we're having an event, folks would bring a chair, and it's kind of auditorium, right? But it's 6 inches, so it's not like you can sit on the corner because it's only 6.
So it's risers.
That's
so to
right.
speak. Okay,
Yep, that's
thank
right.
you.
Yep. And there's no cover, right? So I would anticipate, any activity, they're not going to, in the summertime, it's hot. I don't anticipate them sitting out there in broad daylight in the heat. They're usually, folks are under a tree or under the bridge or stuff. So I would anticipate that we wouldn't have a lot of just sitting at the site during the sunlight hours. It'd probably more at nighttime where they might.
The
congregate.
humanity of it is one thing, and then how we
Right.
operate it is another, so thank you.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, I don't see any other requests for comment, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the scope change request.
I'll move to
Mr. Alt moves.
accept the scope change for this project.
Is there a second?
I'll
A
second.
second?
Been seconded. Any additional comments? I don't see any. It's a great project. We're happy to participate. This, in fact, will go, when will this go to the county council?
We don't have a date yet.
Okay, okay. But that goes in for final approval. So all those in favor of the scope change request, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, you're good. Keep us posted. This is one of our favorite projects. Okay. And I'd also like to welcome Mr. Bradball, Dr. Bradball, who snuck in. It's my brain tumor, I'm sorry. I'm going to use that as an excuse for the next year, which my lisp will come out. Bradball. Welcome. Okay.
Okay, so the next item is the South Daytona Magnolia Park. It was awarded in 2022. ECHO funding was $243,750. The match was the same. They are requesting to change the play area, removing the swing set, adding a bigger play structure due to the size of the play area. And also, they're not going to do anything with the fence. So there's a representative from South Daytona. If there's any questions, Amy is her name.
Amy? Come on down. Do you have a presentation, or do we just move to questions?
Just move to questions.
Okay.
Amy Zangatuta, Parks and Rec Director for the City of South Daytona.
Anybody have any questions on this project?
I do.
Sure.
Yeah, you keep, I saw a couple times in the material, we're replacing AstroTurf with Port in Place. Port in Place what?
It's the pour in place, let's describe the material. They call it pour in place. It's the like rubber foam or rubber kind of material added for customization. So we're gonna have some fish looking like they're swimming in the water. So that's why we chose that over the artificial turf. And plus there's shade there from trees, but AstroTurf, it's really hot. So since we didn't have as much shade in that area, the pour in place is a little bit of a cooler surfacing than AstroTurf.
Yeah, I was just concerned because often Port in Place refers to concrete.
Oh, no, not.
That might be a
no.
little dangerous. for
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
area.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
thank
no
you.
concrete, just the.
I love the fish.
Thank
That's
you.
like art in
Yeah.
public places.
So, yeah, we just had to change it. We didn't want to expand the area because of due to the loss of trees to add a bigger place that, so the option was then to get rid of the swing set, but we're thinking in the future, the city's going to add some swinging benches underneath our pergola at the park to kind of add a swing element to it.
Yep.
Does water percolate through the port in place?
Yes. Yeah. The water goes through, and then there's like rock underbed in there to filter it
Is
out.
that what what DeLand just used in their park? Do you recall?
Yeah, I believe it was similar to what she's describing.
Yeah. It's a nice surface.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
a nice surface, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
I did. I just wanted to say that I thought it was really nice that you spoke to the residents about the fence and got their input on the park. I thought that was a nice gesture of community building. I was going to ask about this poured in place surface, and I'm looking at the photograph. Is that accurate? Is it that dark blue?
Yes, it is I don't think the printed is a little bit darker than it will be. I think it's a slightly lighter blue, but yeah, blue, and then we'll have, I think it's orange fish kind of swimming through it. It's not, they didn't put it on the design, the playground company, but it's orange fish that will be swimming through.
But you did say it was a low temperature. I thought,
Yes.
gosh, if it's dark like that, it might be
No, it's a
burning
little bit
hot.
lighter. It's
Yeah.
blue is it's a darker surfacing, so it is a little bit warmer than some other, but comparatively to the artificial turf, it is a cooler substance.
It looks like a fun park.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Pat, I did want to mention that this is a scope and a budget change. Due to the scope change and then removing a playground set, it is changing that budget line by more than 20%. So that's why it would be considered both a budget and a scope change.
Okay. Any questions on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the scope and budget change request and move it to the county council.
I'll make that motion. Oh, go ahead. You beat me.
Okay, is there a second? We'll take you with,
I'll second the motion.
when you're doing the minutes, just figure it out. It's between Stephanie and Mr. Patterson. Okay, seeing no additional comment, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Oh, nobody's opposed. You're
Thank
good
you
to
very
go.
much. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Daytona Playhouse.
Yes, so the next item is they Daytona Playhouse, they have a budget change. When they submitted the application, they went off estimated costs, now the costs have increased. And also they are removing the land match that they provided and it's all going to be unencumbered cash. So there's representative here if you have any questions with that.
Okay. Your name and address, please.
Good morning. My name's Danny Cryle. I am a resident of the area in Daytona and a longtime volunteer at the Playhouse. I would like to, if I may, take just a moment to personally thank Mr. Alt because he has gotten a little involved and hooked us up with a gentleman named Mark Black from IA Stage, and they have now become a pretty big corporate sponsor and is helping us out with some additional upgrades to our theater. While we are temporarily closed doing this renovation, we've also been able to do some things on the interior with some lighting and things like that. So as was mentioned, the budget change mostly is just because of the time lag between getting the original estimates from the contractor till, they actually, the subcontractors are very hesitant in this day and age to give a firm, no pun intended, concrete estimate. So when we actually got to a point where we were ready to start the construction, which is now about half done, those estimates changed. And the other thing that was mentioned, our treasurer really wanted to be able to demonstrate to you all that we have the money. I mean, like I said, we're halfway through the project. We have the money in hand because originally we included the land match, but since then, the $150,000 grant we got from the Daytona Beach Racing Commission is confirmed, so we have the money in the bank so that, and as soon as we can start getting, reimbursed to complete the project. But it's up and going. In fact, I was just in a meeting yesterday with our contractor. Unfortunately, with the supply chain issues, we're about 2 to 3 weeks late, and we don't think we're going to be able to make that, but that's minor. It still means that we're going to be done before the year is out, knock on wood, and things are moving along quite well. We're thrilled.
Well, I understand the supply chain issue. I have a plump in my washing machine that I have waited weeks to get, so I have to go out to wash it and wash. And Danny, I want to, just in case you all did not know, Danny's dad used to be the Parks Director.
Parks and Recreation. He was the very first Parks and Recreation Director for Volusia County.
Daytona, there is a gymnasium and a park named after his dad, Wes Cryle.
Yes.
So, and Danny and I used to run together back in the PTA days. My sons are now 50 and 48. That's, yeah. is when they were in elementary school. So
Yes, we,
I know, I am old. So Danny's been around, Danny is too. He's been around a long time.
yes, we go back a ways. Yes.
Yeah,
We,
okay.
however, have similar political beliefs.
I'm
We won't
just
talk about
really
those.
glad that you ended up there at the Daytona Theater.
It has been it's been a second home in many ways to me for the last almost 50 years. So we're so thrilled that we were able to do our first renovation. Again, thanks to to Echo, and within like I said, within about 6 years, we were able to raise enough money to do the second one. So we are so thrilled. It's going to be such a wonderful addition to our theater. So
I'll do great.
if there's any questions I can answer, I'll be glad to try.
Any questions for?
I'm glad that Mark came over, and they're a great company. Mark is a great individual. He does so much for, low-key, doesn't ask for recognition, and he's got his hands in a lot of projects worldwide that everybody knows the project, they don't know Mark.
Yeah, it sounded like when I started to hear more about him, I thought, wow. But the fact he was willing to come in and help us out, and it just it makes you feel good that there are people out there that understand theaters, understand our situation, and said, yeah, I want to help you out.
Have they? Is there any movement on the original hemp line, the only one that wasn't replaced in the 90s, or is that still there?
I'm sorry?
The hemp rigging line, there was one original.
I'm not sure, but I know it's on our list of issues, and I think there's a plan, but I'm not positive on that, Jeff. I'm not.
I'm sure that will get taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, would you like to make the motion?
Sure. I move that we approve this scope change for Grant 2302 Daytona Playhouse Phase 2 budget.
Okay, is there a second on the budget change? Okay, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's good. You're good to go. Mr.
Thank you very much, and it's nice to see many of you. I haven't seen Pat in a while either, so it's nice to see.
I've got to get my season's tickets.
Yes, and believe me, as soon as we can nail down the date, you'll be invited to the ribbon cutting and everything else.
We
And
will come with bells on, I promise.
it's gonna be soon. Thank you very much. We
Thank you,
appreciate your
Danny,
support.
and thank you for bringing a cultural program to Echo, because I think it encourages other cultural arts organizations to do the same. And we don't have enough applications for those dollars from the cultural arts community, and you've been a dedicated volunteer and servant, and
Well,
thank you.
My pleasure, and I appreciate the kind words. I really do, and I'll tell you, I would love to see it too. It's not easy.
No.
It's the raising money and matching funds and all that stuff. And unfortunately, most of the cultural organizations are made up of like history majors like me and stuff like that. And if they don't find a good CPA, fortunately, we have a great one. It can be tough to figure these things out. I'll tell you that. But again, thank you for your support.
We're glad to support the organization and you. Okay, Kendra, that completes our presentations,
items, yes.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we'll go to staff comments.
Yes. So I have a few, just some comments, just some updates. The staff is working on some guidebook changes. We hope to bring that back to you in January. We try to do this if we see anything that may be need updated throughout the year. We try to bring these to you, and then that does go to council after your review. So.
And you all had your first meeting with potential applicants. I never got that list.
Yes. So that was on my update for today. So we had 25 organizations attend, 10 municipalities, and 15 nonprofits.
Ooh,
yes.
That's real good.
I think there was 35 attendees, but that was the number. Yes, so we're hopeful that we have a good group of applications.
And for the new
cycle.
members, would you just lay out the process for them? I know we're done with most of our business, but we have some new members. So.
Yes, no, that's no problem. So the mandatory workshop opens the cycle. So once we have that workshop, potential applicants can submit Their applications, their technical application is due November 9th. And then staff will review those applications, provide feedback to the applicants on how they can better their application. Committee doesn't normally see those comments. After that's done, they have a couple weeks to submit the final application. No changes can be made after that. Staff does another review. At that time, we send those comments to the applicant, although they can't respond to them, and the committee gets the same comments we send to the applicants. Then you'll use that to begin your review of the applications. And then the grant review panel will redo the tours in January, then it goes to the grant review panel, and that's when you do the scoring. So on that note, the grant review panel score sheet, we have updated that. If the previous members are familiar with the way it was, just one page, we've made it more robust. It's a little bit more detailed, so the older members, when you see it, it'll be a lot different. I'm going to send that out after this meeting so you can see it and be prepared with what you'll be scoring on. And then once the grant review panel scores, we take those to the council, and they will approve or deny, make a award, and then that's when the project can start.
One of the things, if I may weigh in, as we're trying to address some council feedback to us on not a lot of comments on the score sheet, so we're moving to a rubric that has a description of 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 points. So if you circle the 3, your comment is next to it using the rubric.
I'll keep my mouth shut. Okay.
Okay.
I really do think it's a better system.
It probably is.
And it's, yeah. We adopted it from Orlando, this grants program, and we think it's a good product.
All right, the other items, just want to let you know, we're continuing to work on the strategic plan, the scope, so once we have that compiled, we'll send that out for comments before we send it to bid, or put it out for bid, so you should
Do
see
we have
that
a timeline on that, do we think?
in the near
that will
future.
go out?
No, we had to wait for the budget to be approved because it's in this year's budget, so
Okay.
I don't know if, we're hoping to have it to you before the next committee meeting, so.
And
Yeah.
could you just do a real quick update on Lake Helen, where we are with Lake Helen?
Yes, so. do you
I'm
want-
sorry, raise it.
So staff did a site visit in August.
Okay.
We are drafting up a response to them. So once that's done, we will make sure the committee gets a copy of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start down with Mr. Alt and see if there's any questions that he
In
has.
terms of what was the response in August? You said you were,
We went at the end of August, so we're drafting up we do a monitoring report. So once we finish that report and send to the city, then we'll also provide a copy to the committee.
okay.
Do you have any other questions?
So the museum was open. They're not on track to have the amount of events that they're supposed to have based on the calendars that were shared with us over the 3 months. However, their scope says an average of 10 per month. So to me, that means at the end of the year, they should have 120 events. But based on what they've shared, they're not on track, and we will tell them that.
Okay. They just went through a new administrator, didn't they? They have somebody new over there? Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay.
I thought they fired him and then they hired him back the
Fired
next
back-
meeting.
I heard they fired him again, though.
Oh, okay.
With the new commission.
They have a new deputy clerk. Clerk is, I think, who you're speaking.
Oh, I'm speaking
yeah.
to Lee.
Yeah, Lee. Yeah. So they have a new clerk.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Okay, we'll start down with Mr. Alt for any advisory committee comments.
I just want to know if you could briefly update us on the Gateway Center for the Arts too.
So the Gateway Center, they have executed an agreement with the city of DeBerry for maintenance. That was done in 2022. They did amend that in 23 to make sure it was for the length of the agreement, which is through 2046.
So for new committee members, to provide some context, Gateway Center for the Arts in DeBerry, we provided $1.4 million in ECHO grants through several phases. And they were having difficulty with their operation. There was tarps on their roof for many months out of the year, so they had engaged the city, rightfully, I believe, and deeded ownership of the facility to the city so that the city would pay for maintenance costs and operations in return for a facility use agreement, which is allowed by the ECHO rules. One of the things that Kendra does is monitor our municipal partners' agendas to see if anything ECHO related is on there. And she found that they had executed an agreement with Gateway Center for the Arts, but it was only through 2032. The restrictive covenants require that agreement be through 2046, the length of the restrictive covenants. So we alerted DeBerry after they had adopted that agreement in December that it needed to be changed, and then in May they adopted the First Amendment to agreement to extend that date to 2046. So it's a good public-private partnership, I think.
As it used to be in my district when I was a council member, it is a wonderful change because the city had kind of washed their hands of the whole project, the old commission, and they were requiring these community members to go out and clean the bathrooms in the park site, not just in the communities, or in the Gateway Center, but where the Gateway Center was located. I will never forget that meeting. As long as I live, it was like, you don't ask people to do this. You know, you don't ask volunteers to go clean the bathrooms outward if they're not even responsible for, but they did. So it's really exciting to hear that they have got their act together. Mayor Chazé is doing an excellent job down there, and she's pushed us, I know. And I'm glad we got it corrected, so, okay. I'm sorry I'm being so talky today.
Oh, and I'll thank Mr. Alt for sending me pictures of the tarps, which initiated the conversation.
Yeah, they had a real bad time with the roof, so.
Yes, you had asked about the annual reports. This is one of those, an applicant is required to maintain the building. And, you know, the Gateway Center actually had tarps on their roof for about 2 years. And one of the reasons is they never hired an actual maintenance person for the facility. So they had volunteers, but you don't maintain a facility that size with volunteers, especially roof, HVAC. And there were a lot of issues, so I'm glad the city of DeBerry stepped up and, took it over. But that is you have taxpayer ownership in that equation. Taxpayers own the land, so when the building failed, it's going to revert to the city. So they stepped up, and I think they're doing what's right.
I agree. So, okay. Ms. Drago?
I just have a question, and I received the couple of emails about cameras funded through ECHO funds, and I wondered, is that an issue? Why did this come forward? And I know I'm not alone. I'm asking for explanation or guidance on that. Okay.
Does staff want to respond to that?
Sure. So Councilmember Robbins has directed staff through our county manager, George Reckenwald, to explore the feasibility of using ECHO funds for cameras in parks facilities. It is our judgment that standalone funding, not part as a larger project, would not meet the ballot language because it's not an E, C, an H, or an O. It is an improvement, however. But if it was rolled into a larger project, that would be certainly eligible for funding, but as standalone, it would not be at this time.
So I'm going to say, and I'm going back to, I think when we had the signage at the Marine Discovery Center, that we didn't have cameras, but if you had trails or what have you, and then there were cameras included in the grant, that would be appropriate. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the issue.
We don't do maintenance is what it is, and that would be a maintenance.
That's more operational?
Yes, operational.
And then what we do with the capital up front. And so the cameras are operational, it would appear to me, but that's my layperson.
Just so you know, I had this conversation with Mr. Robbins that he had called me about it, and my response was exactly what Brad had just said, that this is not part of a greater project that is coming to us new. And I said, we don't do maintenance. And you, first of all, even for the county council, you would have to find where you would get your maintenance from, but it won't be from ECHO because we don't do that. And I'm hopeful that while we are an advisory committee, that in fact that is taken seriously by the sitting council now, that they can't just start picking off money for maintenance.
Thank you.
Let me see if I get,
Okay.
Macalusco, right?
So,
Luso. God, I've tried.
just
Let's get closer. I'm getting closer.
Just follow the letters.
I'll write it out phonetically.
Yeah,
Everybody
thank
can
you,
get-
Alice, could do that, John.
You're welcome, thank you. Thank you, Pat, for asking that question, and thanks, Brad, for clarifying on the cameras. That was a question that I had as well. I just have one other comment. This weekend is Port Orange Family Days, and if you get the opportunity over the weekend, stop by the city center and take a good look at the ECHO-funded rec center that was built. I think you'll see that it, as I stated a couple of meetings ago, it really has recreational feasibility for all ages, from young to old. So if you get that opportunity, stop by.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you stop by and see the slide inside, you will know that Jill went down it while we were there.
Yes.
So definitely all age fun.
Okay, we'll go to Mr. Patterson, the birthday boy. No, I'm going down oh, you don't have no questions? Okay. No comment? Okay.
Yeah, no comment.
Ms. Heath?
Yes, actually, I was able to attend the ribbon cutting at Jackson Lane Park in DeLand, and it was a beautiful park. Actually, Mr. Patterson was there as well. I'm not sure, did you get on that swing? I think you might have, but it looked like a beautiful park, and I was glad to make that
They have
drive.
jungle gym.
They do.
They do.
Yes, yeah.
They don't do jungle gyms much anymore, but they
You
have a
know,
jungle gym.
I think the kids are monkeys, and they love it. They love climbing up and down those things, and they can do it, I can't. I also recently went to Art House, which is part of the Port Orange City Center. Went inside and took a tour of that facility and talked to Cameron, their director. And it looks like they've really got some wonderful programs, and they'll be a part of the Port Orange Family Days. So I thought that was a great use of those ECHO funds and a beautiful facility for art and kids.
Great. So are any other comments before we adjourn? Yes?
I just want to mention that the next meeting is January 11th. I'll be corresponding with you before then. Obviously, we'll be sending out the comments from the applications we did receive. And lastly, the report log was not included in the agenda due to the quarterly reports being due in a couple days. So I will send that log out to the committee members also, so you can
We
see.
love our staff with ECHO. You all do a great job, and we appreciate the communication, so. And just so you know, there are donuts in the back room if anybody wants a donut. If nobody wants to take them upstairs and
Thank you.
get rid of them. But they are in Mr. Patterson's honor. With that, we will be adjourned. Good meeting. Thank you all.
Good meeting, Pat.